Hi, I'm Jared Falk, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how I count quarter note triplets. Now, I get this question a ton, and for some reason, I've never done a video teaching people how to count quarter note triplets. I checked back, see if I had any sheet music, and I didn't. So this is my very first video teaching you guys how to count quarter note triplets, or at least how I count and feel quarter note triplets. So take a look at exercise number 1. You'll notice I've written eighth note triplets. Now hopefully you've watched the eighth note triplet video, the 16th triplet video, and all the other note value lessons, because we're kind of going to be referring to those within this lesson. So it's kind of a prerequisite, if you will. That's a really big word for someone like me, so you guys got to give me a thumbs up for using the word prerequisite. Okay, that said, you'll notice the accents there in the eighth note triplets. This is how I actually count them, and this is how you have to think of them. And so within that bar of eighth note triplets, the accented notes is where the quarter note triplets are landing. All right, so they're landing every other note starting on count 1. And so you basically have 12 eighth note triplets per bar. So if you want quarter note triplets, what do? Well, you chop those in half and you have 6 quarter note triplets per bar. So you'll notice if you look at exercise number 2, there's just 6 notes there with the count written above, exactly how I'd count them. But I first wanted to play exercise 1 for you with a metronome. I'm just going to really be accenting there so you can hear how it sounds if you were to play it within context on the snare. Here we go. In that case, it sounds really, really weird because we're playing to a quarter note click, which is 4 beats in 1 bar, and then the main pulse or the main accent is 6 really heavily accented notes. It's kind of like a 6/04, and that's where you get that polyrhythmic sound, and your brain starts to twist, and you start to make really, really weird faces, and yeah, stuff can go really bad when you play quarter note triplets. Just joking. So now that you got that, let's just play again with the metronome and just play the 6 notes without the kind of, I call them training wheels, the eighth note triplet training wheels for quarter note triplets. But let's play it without that, just the quarter note triplets, nice and slow. Before you incorporate this into any music, or before you start playing with a band and stuff like that, you need to know how to do just that, okay? That's kind of another prerequisite before you actually take it and start incorporating into the band, is know how to count them and then know how it actually applies over just a basic quarter note pulse. All right, so we got 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1. That's how I count them. Now let's start applying it and screwing around with other note values here. So we're going to go in number 3, we're going to go from eighth notes to eighth note triplets to quarter note triplets. So we got 1 and 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. So it's almost like the groove is just falling down slowly. Let's hear how it sounds. I hope you're beginning to see how these can really, really transform a certain part of a song or a certain part of a groove. You know, if you're just going straight heavy and you just play this wicked quarter note triplet thing down the toms, it sounds so awesome, okay? So definitely learn this rhythm if you have the time. Now we're gonna go from 16th notes to 16th triplets to quarter note triplets on the snare drum. If you want, you can first just practice on your leg, practice on a practice pad before you actually move it to the drums. Here we go. pretty weird. Did you see my left eye starts twitching like crazy and my right ear starts to like droop, and then this lip starts to go like this, and then I start drooling out of my right side of my mouth? It's ridiculous. It sounds so funky and so twisty. It sounds twisty. That's a good word. All right, now we're gonna move on to exercise number 5. Basic shuffle groove, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then what we're actually doing is we're playing 2 groups of 8th note triplets, and then here's where the funky part starts. We actually have a quarter note triplet rest, so we're only gonna play the last 2 quarter note triplets in the bar. So what count will those be on? Those will be on the of 3 and the and of 4. Okay, so let's just play the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and get that first, and then apply it on the drums exactly how it's written. Here we go. The final groove, we're actually using a straight 8th note beat, okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're starting the fill with a group of 3 quarter note triplets. So let's just work out the rhythm. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 tita and tita, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 tita and tita, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 tita and tita, 1. So it's really, really funky, but it's going to sound cool when we put it on the drums. Here we go. Now that is a real badass sounding fill. So what you guys have to remember to do if you're reading sheet music or trying to learn something and you see quarter note triplets coming up is trying to get the 8th note triplet count into your head, because if we know the 8th note triplet count as it relates to the time that we're playing with, the quarter note triplets are going to be no problem because we know how those relate to 8th note triplets, and it's way easier to count quarter note triplets using 8th note triplets, all right? Or using the 8th note triplet training wheel. So you guys, I had a lot of fun teaching you this lesson. It's crazy for me to try and teach this stuff and break it down, but it's so much fun. So I hope you have fun watching this video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.